What up? What up? This is the very first ever main event marks live stream. As you can see, my background behind me isn't uh, really great or anything, but it is what it is. So, what's up, everybody? We just came out with a new podcast today, episode 162. I can't believe we've done so many so far. Plus all the bonus shows. We have one YouTube exclusive show on this Tuesday in Texas. It was a YouTube exclusive because we had covered that Survivor Series, and it literally happened like a couple days after. So the news is pretty much the same. And if anybody listened to the podcast long enough, the news is a big part of what we do. So we didn't feel like, we didn't really feel like um, repeating same news stories and all that stuff. So that's why it's YouTube exclusive. But regardless, today we dropped a brand new episode. Is WCW Bash at the Beach 1994. If anybody wanted to check it out, wanted a little preview, I just kind of wanted to run down some of the stuff we're talking about on the show. Obviously, it's Hulk Hogan's debut match in WCW, and they did what WWF never could do, or well, they could have done it, but they didn't do it for reasons that we've also discussed on various episodes of the podcast, mostly a WrestleMania 8 episode. If anybody goes back, checks that out. But they put Hogan and Flair in the same ring. It was Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, WCW title on the line. That was the main event, obviously. We also had Stunning Steve Austin defending the United States title against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That was pretty good. That was well above average. We had some actual good stuff on this card and some not so great stuff on this card. Lord Steven Regal opens it up defending the television title against Johnny B. Bad, the perennial opener. If you look back at this time period, it was either Johnny B. Bad, Lord Steven Regal, or both of them opening up the show. Every once in a while, you get Brian Pillman in there as well. But these were the perennial openers, man. It was good stuff. They had at least an average match there, especially given what they could do. Vader also took on the Guardian Angel, so that was, if anybody doesn't know, Guardian Angel is big boss man. Terry Funk and Bunkhouse Buck took on Dustin Rhodes and Arn Anderson. That was a barn burner. And then Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan defended the tag titles against Pretty Wonderful, which is Paul Orndorff and Paul Roma. Yeah, and that was certainly a let down match or whatever the hell, or right before, or a let me up match, I guess is what they call it, before the main event. I know, shocker, it sucked, but it was there. As any loyal listener to the podcast knows, we like Mick Foley, love Mick Foley. Paul Orndorff is pretty decent. We don't like Paul Roma. Who the hell does? I mean, I don't know if that really needs to be said, but neither one of us ever saw anything in Kevin Sullivan. If you do, I would like to hear like a good argument as to what the hell you see in Kevin Sullivan. I mean, I'm open to, people disagreeing and, telling me where I'm wrong. But Greg and I never saw anything in him. He kind of sucked for the most part. The only time he ever had good matches was like with Chris Benoit, which you have to work really hard to have a bad match with Chris Benoit. So there's that. In the news, obviously, during this time, the steroid trial was a big thing going on where they're going after the WWF real hard. So we talk about that. That's actually a top story in the news. There's ratings panic a little bit for WCW Saturday Night. We talk about that. We discuss them making money off of other ventures. Jim Crockett's actually trying to start up a new wrestling promotion, so there's that. There's actually some stuff going on in Smoky Mountain Wrestling during this time. It was a weird time for them. Jake the Snake Roberts was their world champion or heavyweight champion or whatever the hell. So that's going to cause some issues. Yeah, quite a bit of news out of Smoky Mountain actually. Some of it involving the Gangstas. I'm sure you all can let your minds wander on that one to what we're talking about. Go check it out. It's good stuff. If I do say so myself. We have had this one in the can for a little bit. For anybody that's not aware, we're fairly deep in the can at this point, just because August and September are busy months for me with my job, and Greg is most likely going to be fairly busy during that time as well. We're going to SummerSlam in a couple of weeks in Detroit. If anybody's going to SummerSlam, hit us up. We're going to be in Detroit. Greg is going to be there longer than I am. He's flying out kind of midweek. It's cheaper. I cannot take any time off in August because it's such a busy time at my job, blacked out vacation time. So I'm going to be joining him on Friday night, and then I'm going to be there till Sunday. We are thinking about hitting up WrestleCon, but there is a competing, not in the same area, like across the country. There is a competing wrestling convention. I can't even remember what the hell he told me it was now. He sent me a picture, and it's going to have like huge names like Kurt Angle and a bunch of others. So I don't know who all is going to be at the one in Detroit, the WrestleCon out there, but we might check it out if we got time. If not, we'll do some sightseeing, some fig hunting. Speaking of which, I've been posting new videos of Greg's been sending them to me. I've been slapping them up on the tube of you. If you want to check out the shorts of his fig hunts, sometimes he finds stuff, sometimes not so much. Sometimes we use them to kind of illustrate. Recently, it's been markdowns because of overproduction. And usually it's distribution issues, but now it's like overproduction of these figures. And you'll see similar ones in all of the videos. He'll show, the typical peg warmers out there. I will say this, it definitely differs by the part of the country you're in, because I have seen a few of the ones. He's out in California. I am here in Ohio. His peg warmers are not my peg warmers. So it's definitely an area of the country type thing. I feel like his peg warmers are more recent figures than mine. Our peg warmers have been like peg warmers for like 2 years at least. I swear we still have some on the shelf from when the lockdowns were happening back in 2020. I'm not even joking. So it's pretty bad. Not every store. Some stores get some new stuff here and there, but yeah, Walmart and Target are the main ones you look in. He listens to the Major Wrestling Figures podcast, and they talk a lot about some hidden places. Obviously, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers like travel the country, so they're able to check out different stores. And they say like Goodwill and Marshalls and a couple others. I'll tell you what, I've checked out those stores in my area. Nothing, like not one single wrestling figure. So, yeah. I don't ever really talk about sports, but since this pertains to my co-host, I figured I saw something on trending hashtag sell the team. So I clicked on it, and it's about the Oakland A's. So I just kind of wanted to go down some of the tweets here. At Gamer Athletics says, shout out to at 997 now for highlighting yesterday's All-Star Game protest. And of course, the at Oakland 68s for everything they did yesterday, flying out to Seattle to make it happen. Fight is not over. We ain't giving up. Hashtag sell the team. Hashtag Fisher out. Hashtag athletics. Also from Michael Bruno at Michael Opera. He said he retweeted from Oakland Stadium Watch. They said if there was any truth to this, the A's could point to specific aspects of the Oakland political process that stopped their plans. They haven't. The only thing missing, apparently, is Oakland not finding enough free money for the A's. And this guy said, I call BS on Rob Manfield and MLB. There is at least 376 point. The way he typed it is weird. $376.5 million in local, state, regional, and federal money identified, plus $100 million pending for Oakland deal. Also, $500 million in potential EIFD bond proceeds and more in the works. And we're not stealing from schools. Hashtag sell the team. Yeah, some Oakland A fans are not happy, man. I mean, why would you? If nobody's been keeping up, they're moving the team to Las Vegas, same place as the Raiders. So they're Oakland's fixing to lose 2 teams to Vegas. It's weird, in my opinion. Somebody else said it's important for people to know there was and still is an Oakland offer. Manfred is lying when he says there isn't. The Oakland offer is better and doesn't rely on money that could be used for schools like the deal in Vegas. Also, no 115-degree games. Yeah, Vegas is hot. I've never been there. That's, anecdotal. People have said. See, hey, MLB. But for a last-minute push by the East Coast, Athletics fans led the drive to make Eric Sogard and Nerd Power the face of MLB a decade ago. Do you really think you have anything on us when it comes to the sell the team movement? Okay, I don't. Judging by that, I can't tell what side he he stands. Let's see. I like this one. Las Vegas locality tweeted, "What are the biggest scams in Las Vegas right now?" Somebody retweeted them and said, "Giving a billionaire millions in public funding to build a stadium instead of taking care of your schools. Hashtag Fisher out. Hashtag sell the team. Hashtag Oakland forever." Yeah, so people aren't happy about this, man. I mean, like I said, why would you be? If you're an Oakland A's fan, if you are in the Oakland area, period. Getting back to wrestling for a moment, Greg told me this last night, actually. Apparently, Brian Pillman Jr. is out of AEW. PW Insider has confirmed that Brian Pillman Jr.'s deal with AEW has expired and has page refreshed. Stupid. I did not click on Jim Cornette, although he's trending again. Shocker. And he has exited the company. There you go. Trying to see. Brian Pillman Jr. reportedly done with AEW, according to Cultaholics. NoDQ.com. Brian Pillman Jr. reportedly no longer working for AEW. Man, everybody's on this. I don't cover local stuff or current stuff. Yeah. And then what would Brian Pillman Jr.'s name be in NXT if he was to be signed by WWE? Yeah, it's not going to be Brian Pillman Jr. WWE doesn't do that. I can see the arguments for and against keeping him Brian Pillman Jr. But I don't know. I threw out some stupid ones to Greg last night. I'm not going to repeat them here. They're not like offensive or anything. They're just like trying to keep it clean. Yeah, so Brian Pillman Jr. done. If you want current stuff, right here on this very YouTube channel is Jacob Grandi with Curtain Jerkin. Excuse me, Curtain Jerkin. He posts here and there. I can't give you I can't give you an exact date that he posts because we discussed this on a recent podcast. He just kind of posts whenever he's got stuff to talk about. when there's enough stuff to make an episode out of, he will make an episode. His latest one came out on the 6th, so that was about a week ago, give or take. Yeah, last Thursday. That was his latest. Before then, he dropped one on the 4th, dropped one on the 29th. So yeah, like I said, whenever he's got stuff to talk about, he does. But we always talk about retro stuff, like I mentioned our latest podcast is on Bash of the Beach '94. Obviously, it's like what is it, 29 years old at this point. I'm trying to math in my head real quick. But yeah, shout out to Jacob Grandi, Curtain Jerkin on our channel. I guarantee he'll be covering the Brian Pillman stuff more in depth. I'm just kind of going through the headlines there for him. As I mentioned, Jim Cornette's trending again on YouTube. So is Kota Ibushi. Dude, I swear to God, Jim Cornette trends daily. I don't like Jim Cornette. Sometimes that's a popular opinion. Sometimes that's an unpopular opinion. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of a lot of the crap he says. Greg likes his takes a lot, his nicknames and all that goofy stuff, but I'm not a big fan. But I have to respect the grift, man. The hustle, not the grift, but I respect the hustle. Make yourself trend daily. I guess all press is good press for Jimbo Cornette. It's always something like he insulted somebody from the AEW locker room or whatever. I think recently he said something about he doesn't care about anybody in any of the women's divisions except for like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte or something like that. He doesn't take any. Oh no, I know what it was. It was he said he doesn't care about the women's ladder matches, and he doesn't look at them as like legit or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's an opinion, a bad one, but it's an opinion. Sometimes it went like if you were saying this like 20 years ago or even 15 years ago, I'd be like, all right. But sometimes the women have the best match on the card. I mean, not all the time, but I mean, it's hard to argue some of these women, some of the women wrestlers, and especially in WWE, are like just killing it nightly. You got Bianca Belair, you got Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, Becky, Io, Asuka. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I'm not a huge fan of Liv Morgan matches, but I can throw Liv in there. She's hugely popular. She does well. Raquel, Ronda, Shayna. I mean, there's a ton, man. Admittedly, I don't watch a lot of the current product, but I tune in here and there. So I'm just clicking around looking at different stuff. So next week, real quick, before I go into non-wrestling related stuff, next week on the pod, let me look at the schedule here, is actually double main event week, meaning we got 2 shows for you. We've got one drop in Wednesday, July 29th. That's WWF in Your House 2, The Lumberjacks. That actually has possibly the greatest match. I just got an update from my co-host Greg. Let me know. I didn't mention. Apparently, Cornette likes Chris Statlander and Taya Valkyrie. I'm shocked about Taya. I knew he came around on Statlander. I know that only because, like I said, I don't listen to his stuff. Greg does, and we have another mutual friend who listens all the time. So apparently, he came around on her. He used to hate her, and when she was like doing the alien gimmick and whatever. Taya, I had no idea that he liked her. I figured he'd think she was a joke and just like a big Barbie or something. But cool. But either way, getting back to coming up next week, for Double Main Event Week. In Your House 2 has possibly the greatest match in Your House. Well, I guess until the later years, maybe has one of the greatest matches in Your House history on it. It's Jeff Jarrett defending the Intercontinental title against Shawn Michaels. And this was the one, if anybody knows the history here, for some reason, this pissed off Jarrett that he had to do the JOB. And he had the roadie / road dog / BG James, whatever the hell you want to call him. He had him by his side at the time. And Jarrett went out, dropped the belt. I don't talk like a mark, but it is what it is. Main event marks, baby. But he went out, he lost to Shawn, came back, and him and the roadie packed up their crap and left. And they just quit. So Jarrett went to WCW for a few years and did that whole, I'm trying to get into the Horsemen. I'm kind of part of the Horsemen, but not really kind of thing. And then Rhodey just kind of sat around for a little bit, and then he came back. I think he came back at least by the end of 94, early 95. He was back, and he was revealed as the real Double J. And they were like, oh, he actually sang With My Baby Tonight, not Jarrett. So on this show, you get a live performance, Milli Vanilli style of Jarrett doing With My Baby Tonight. But the main event here was not the one. I mean, I guess it drew the house, but nobody talks about it. It's Diesel versus Sid for the WWF title. Lumberjacks around the ring. Yeah, so that happened. There's other stuff on the card too, but those are the big things. That's coming up Wednesday. Next Friday, we're covering WCW Nitro from July 18th, 2000. It wasn't like a special Nitro or anything, but stuff happened, and we kind of wanted to jump around with the news and kind of show, things changing, because we're covering Bash of the Beach 98 the week after, the last Wednesday of July. So we wanted to branch out and do something from a different month or year. I mean, so there was typical 2000s BS. Fallout from Bash of the Beach 2000 happens there. I don't have my notes right in front of me from the show, but you'll just have to check it out. There's the U.S. title tournament. That was the big thing that went on, where Lance Storm finally won the U.S. title. That's when he went on his tear, just winning titles. And he had like 3 titles at the same time in WCW. He had the U.S. title, I want to say the TV title, and then the hardcore title. And he renamed them all. Don't remember what he did, or maybe it was a cruiserweight title. Yeah, it was a cruiserweight title, not a TV title. I stand corrected. He called that like the something welterweight title or what the hell ever. And then the U.S. title, he renamed the Canadian heavyweight title. And then the hardcore title, he renamed the Saskatchewan Hardcore International title, the SHIT, because, Vince Russo and all. But yeah, there's that. That's coming up next week. Double Main Event Week. Tune in for that. Definitely download today's episode or check it out here on YouTube. It's in video form. I take pride in my graphics that I do for the album art. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I know I occasionally get a comment, or Greg does, on it on our social media. So I'll take movie posters, game posters, or covers, whatever, or even TV show posters and covers, and I'll Photoshop them for the specific show that we're reviewing. So hopefully you all enjoy the album art, because I enjoy doing it. That's why I think it's fresh. It's better than just slapping up the cover of the DVD or VHS or whatever the hell and being like, there you go. It's kind of what I used to do in the infancy of this podcast, and this is more fun, and I think it grabs the attention a little bit more. But that's next week. Going to non-wrestling related stuff before I get into YouTube stuff going on. If anybody can is willing to help my wife and I out, we've got a couple of kittens we're fostering. We haven't fostered cats in a while, but we're fostering 2 kittens now. We were fostering 4. So it started with 1 because my sister-in-law wanted a cat, but it was an infant. They found it at my mother-in-law's house, and she wanted it, but she doesn't know anything about bottle feeding, and it was an infant. So we've done it before. So we took it in, and we were going to keep it until she was ready to get fixed. Well, at the last minute, my sister-in-law backed out. But my wife works in veterinary medicine and works at a vet hospital. So she asked somebody that she works with, one of the techs, if they want a kitten. She had brought the kitten into work to get socialized before, and she loved the kitten. So she said, yeah, I'll take it in. And she also just took in another kitten, so she wanted to have a friend. The second kitten we got was actually the friend for the first kitten, because when you socialize them, first of all, they need to be socialized, and they also need to learn to bite each other, because that's how they understand pain, and don't bite humans because, oh, well, I got bit and it hurts, so maybe I shouldn't bite anyone else. But that was through the SPCA. She's got a home. We dropped her off yesterday or Monday. And then we've got 2 boys that we found because they were brothers, and the one got attacked. So we took them in. This is, let's see, let me turn the light off here. Can't really see it too well. The picture's kind of crappy, but yeah. It's a little buff boy. His name is Superman. My wife named him. Or, sorry, Batman. We do have a Superman. This was these don't come through very well. I don't know how to put them up, but that's the first one we took in. It's a little calico, but we just dropped her off yesterday. But yeah, here's the last picture I'll show, because like I said, they're not showing up very well, but that's Superman and Batman. Batman was attacked in the wild by, I think, a raccoon, and got a bald spot. But we're taking care of them, trying to get them both homes through the SPCA Cincinnati. So if anybody's interested and lives in the area or knows anybody in the area, please go talk to them, wait for them. We'd love to get them good homes, because they can't stay with us. But anyway, moving on from cat talk. YouTube videos. I'll wrap it up with a little bit of this. Our YouTube videos, our latest ones. So, I want to say Monday. Let me see. All right. Yeah, it's got to be Monday. I think I posted one. Let me double check. Well, okay, Monday I did post one. It was would AEW be good for Max, the streaming service Max? That's Greg and I chatting like 2.5 minutes. Go check that out. Here are arguments for and against it. We wrap it up pretty quickly. But yeah, I have Max. He has Max. He watches more AEW than I do. If it was on a streaming service, I may watch it more. I don't know. I don't have cable or any form of traditional TV at this time. I only have Max, Hulu, and Peacock and Tubi. I could watch it if I really wanted to. I don't. Greg always points that out to me. He's like, if you really wanted to, you could watch it. I'm like, I know. I'm not motivated. Friday or 5 days ago. What was 5 days ago? I'm not good at calendaring. But anyway, this has 167 views on it. It's will there be a Batman cinematic universe? And it's that the Batman, Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson plays Batman. It's where I'm talking about that. And we discuss if that would be good or not. Or I discuss it. It's a video by me. I kind of analyze it and going through an article about it and whatnot, and what that could look like. I know they're coming out with The Penguin Show starring Colin Farrell. That looks interesting. Yesterday, here's what I posted. The title of the video is WTF is happening in The Witcher Season 3. I've posted a lot about The Witcher. I'm a big fan of The Witcher show on Netflix. I love The Witcher. I did not read the books. I've played a little bit of the third game. I own it. Haven't beaten it yet. But I went into this with no prior knowledge. So I'm not one of them that it's like, oh my God, they're not following the source material. How dare they? But so I liked the first 2 seasons. This season, though, I'm not digging. People have informed me on my previous Witcher videos. I've done quite a few videos on either the games or the show of The Witcher or Henry Cavill. And people have informed me on some of those videos in the past about some of the big changes. I have a work friend who also filled me in on some of that, that her ex-husband or whatever read the books and he hated the show because of various things. But yeah, I posted this. I'm not a big fan of season 3. My wife's liking it, but at the same time, she's confused. Like I am. I'm confused about a lot of it because it's a weird season, man. I analyze it a little bit more, kind of break down various stuff in the video. You guys go check that out. It's only 8 minutes long, so if you can spare 8 minutes, please do. Yesterday, or no, I'm sorry, today. Get my days mixed up. Greg and I posted a video. It's Microsoft and Activision Blizzard win big. Quick last aside about the Witcher thing. I've got another video kind of about dropping viewership and horrible ratings or whatever. I just finished editing it before I went live and uploaded it. It'll be up and viewable on Monday. So keep an eye out for that. But getting to this, I'm not going to go through the article and everything. You can watch our video on it if you want to know more. But we did talk about how Microsoft, for those that don't know, Microsoft has been trying to buy Activision Blizzard for a while now, and courts keep like going after them, or the FTC is going after them in court, and Sony doesn't like it because Sony's big complaints are like, well, they have Call of Duty, and you're going to take Call of Duty from us. And they said, we're not going to take Call of Duty from you, dude. Like, here's an agreement saying you can get Call of Duty. We're not going to bogart it. And Nintendo signed it. Nintendo was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Do what you want. We don't care. I mean, they're, solidly in first place out of the 3 systems. So, whatever. Not like they're hurting. But Call of Duty's huge. We talk about it in the video. And we even talked about how Activision Blizzard has also Diablo, which is insanely popular, World of Warcraft, which I don't know if it still is, but at one point it was insanely popular. But the only thing this lawsuit seems to be centered around is whether or not they're taking Call of Duty. Like, that's the only thing anybody cares about. And I even say in the video, I'm like, I don't understand the legal precedent for this. They're like, well, it would go against competition in the marketplace. I'm like, in what way? It's one war game, one video game producer. How many? The only thing I can think of is because they also bought up Ubisoft, and I don't know, man. It confused the hell out of me because it's not like a monopoly, and they're really not going against competition in the marketplace because it's not like there are no other video game developers out there. There are plenty of other big name developers out there that aren't exclusive to one system or another. But suddenly Activision Blizzard comes up And oh man, can't have that. I seem to remember like certain American politicians even going after him, and non-American politicians. But I know specifically ones in like the U.S. Congress. I was like, why do you give a crap about this, man? Of all the things, and I'm not going to get political, but of all the things going on in the world and in our country right now, and you're like, you know what I need to concentrate on is whether or not this one computer slash video game tech company, whatever, can buy another video game developer. That's what we need to be going after them hard for. And they got involved, and they tried, and they fought, and this has been going on for a while. And I even said in the video, I'm like, there's nothing to fight for here. So there's nothing to fight against. Like, this is stupid. It's a waste of time and money. And I knew it was going to go through, and it did. The judge finally was like, yeah, this is dumb, and they threw it out, and they're like, you can go ahead with the purchase. But the Federal Trade Commission has until the 14th, I think, so 2 more days to appeal. I'm sure they're going to freaking appeal. Because no government agency knows how to just take the damn L and move on. No, must spend more money, must waste more time, must harass more people. I don't know. And I'm not big into like big corporate. I'm not necessarily, I love Xbox, but I'm not a mic, and I have a PC, but I'm not a Microsoft fanboy. I mean, I have an iPhone right here, so there you go. I go with whatever I like, and I just happen to like PC a hell of a lot better than Mac. I can't stand Mac. But either way, I'm not like a fanboy here. If PlayStation had enough to offer me, where because I'm currently deciding I don't have current gen systems. If I saw enough on a PlayStation that would make me want to buy them, I'd get them. Or I mean, I guess I have current gen. I have a Switch, but a Nintendo Switch. But I'm trying to decide. I can only have for now a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series. I want the Series X because it has the disc drive. I know physical is dying, but I still want the option for as long as physical is still limping along. I'd like some arguments against that, by the way. If anybody is like, "Oh, physical's not dying," like, please tell me why you think this. I want real arguments. The best argument I've got so far, and it was lame, was somebody was like, "Oh, well, I all of the games that I have pre-ordered, they're all pre-ordered in physical right now." Like, okay, and like there are a couple of games that are yes, still coming out physically. Most of them are not. Or if you order physical, you're going to get a box with a code in it to download it. And plus, you get this disc and you got to download the whole damn game anyway, which I think is incredibly annoying. That's neither here nor there. That's arguing, about something else. But I have not heard a good argument as to why physical is not dying. I don't take this as a sign that it's dying necessarily, but Greg was telling me somebody at his local Best Buy told him, yeah, we're doing away with all physical games soon. So Best Buy is always the first to do away with stuff though, and I don't think their business model is very sustainable, but I mean they're still around, but I don't know. They have electronics, but they're all I guess I shouldn't say business model. Their prices are not sustainable. Best Buy is literally my last resort for electronics because they're so expensive. But they did away with CDs first. They did away with tapes and records and whatever first. Anything physical they can get rid of, they will. They don't like having inventory. But regardless, I got so far off track here. What I was trying to say was if PlayStation offered, going all the way back around now, if PlayStation 5 had more exclusive on it, then I'm like, oh, well, I need that. I would get it. But so far, the only thing they're offering that I'm like, oh man, is Spider-Man 2. Other than that, I don't know. Xbox has Starfield. So far to me, they win. Now I could be wrong. Starfield could not be as good as I think it's going to be, but it looks like it's going to be awesome. So I could be very wrong there, but it's a big game. It looks great. So I'm looking to get a Series X by probably holiday season, because last holiday season I bought my computer on Black Friday sale, and I paid for it through Affirm. If anybody's used that, where you can stretch out the payments, and they let me stretch it out for a year, where I pay once a month. So my payments end in November, I think. And I don't necessarily want more payments, but I'm not going to have just $500+ be like boom on a Xbox around that time of year. So I'll go through Affirm or Afterpay, or PayPal now even has something to do payments with. So there are a lot of those services now. I've used Affirm for many things in the past. Computer, hotels, whatever. I don't even remember what else, but either way, yeah. So big win for Microsoft. I'm sure there are more appeals to come. 35 plus countries. We even talked about this in the video. 35 plus countries already gave them the go ahead on the purchase. They were just kind of waiting for this. Our government, I think, is the one that's fighting them the most. The UK is also going after them because, of course, the UK. I'll keep it to myself. But anyway, that's what's new on YouTube. I've got more Fig Hunt videos from Greg coming out. Shorts, not full-length videos, but shorts coming out today, tomorrow, and Friday. And I'm sure he's going to be sending me more. I've got other shorts too, specifically from like clips from the podcast and different stuff like that. So keep an eye out for those. We got tons of content coming, be it on media, be it on wrestling itself. Yeah. Last thing, just to wrap up, this is way out of left field, but I wanted to throw another kind of random thing in here. Does anybody know what I always call it? Shein, Shein. Anybody know that is? They sell clothes and whatever at the fairly low prices. I've heard not great things about them. I mean, when a place sells decent clothes for fairly low prices, you can kind of do the math on how they're able to do that. And yeah, but either way, I get emails from them sometimes, and like I've only ordered men's clothes from them, obviously, but every one of their emails is about sales on women's clothes, and they're always like 90% off, and it's like the worst clothing of all time, even if it is some of the men's clothes, because they've had sales on the men's clothes that I've looked at, and I'm like, yeah, I can tell why they're on sale. It's hilarious. But anyway, just kind of stalling at this point, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. having a weird day, everybody. But all right, like I said, just wanted to do this, try it out. I don't know how often I'm actually going to go live, but I want to check it out and try it out for the first time. We have the new podcast, episode 162, out now. On WCW Bash of the Beach 1994, Hulk Hogan's debut against Ric Flair for the WCW title. We got that Witcher video out on The Witcher Season 3, another one dropping on Monday, kind of breaking down. This first one is like my opinion on the season and different stuff like that. And yeah, Monday is going to be more like an article I'm talking about and giving my opinions on, and we're looking at the the ratings through Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, and yeah, it's not good. Not good. Believe me, not good. And then Microsoft and Activision Blizzard win big. That's Greg and I breaking that down. We're giving our opinions and kind of a rundown of the situation, as well as going through a Forbes article on the whole matter. So if you could, go check those out. Also support Curtain Jerkin on this channel. It's from Jacob Grandi. That is more current stuff. As Greg likes to call them, they're snackable episodes. The one posted just about a week ago, it's only about 17 minutes. The one on the 4th was about 36 minutes, 14 minutes for the one posted on the 29th. So, yeah, they're snackable. Like I said, if he's got enough to do a short show with, he will. We obviously do more long form shows. Like today's episode is about an hour and 38 minutes. We've had longer episodes. We had some shorter episodes. Like the last episode we did was almost 2 hours long on ECW Heatwave 2000. The one before that was about an hour 45 on Money in the Bank 2018. Yeah, so you get a lot of different stuff on this page. If you're new, thank you for checking it out. Thank you for listening. And we will see you when we see you. And like I said, download the new podcast. If you don't want to watch it here on YouTube, go download it on literally anywhere you get podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify. Let's see. What I have them all listed here. Rumble. Go check us out on Rumble. Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Breaker, Podchaser, Deezer, Castbox, Podcast Addict, Google Podcasts. Megaphone is where we upload, and you can listen to us there. And iHeartRadio as well. If you have that down, it uploads later to that one. It's like almost, I'd swear, like 10 hours, like a 10-hour delay by the time it uploads everywhere else and then to iHeart. I hate that. And I don't understand why there's such a damn delay, but there is. So, yeah, if you want to listen to it 10 hours later on iHeart, go for it. I don't really like their podcast platform anyway, so I either use Apple or Spotify to listen to my podcasts. But, yeah, anywhere at all you want to listen to it. Like I said, we are on Rumble as well if you want to go check that out. We don't have a lot of views on Rumble, but we are mirrored over there. So anything we upload to this YouTube is also mirrored to our Rumble, obviously later, but I've heard some people say that there's a large delay on that as well. But, if you want to support alt tech, definitely check that out. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. We will catch you in our next YouTube video, or if you want to check out the next podcast next Wednesday. Like I said, well, next week is double main event week. Next Wednesday is In Your House 2, The Lumberjacks. And next Friday is WCW Nitro from July 18th, 2000. It was a Tuesday Nitro. There's a one-night U.S. title tournament on that show. And some other goofy crap from the Vince Russo era. So, Tank Abbott dancing around with 3 count with the nipples cut out of his shirt. That's a real sentence. And yeah, check out today's show, WCW Bash at the Beach 1994, where Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin were on the same card, 1994 WCW. How about that? Both in title matches. See you later.